Hello, everyone. Welcome to Metaverse Meanderings, where the two of us sit around and talk about what's going to happen in the metaverse and how real it is and how important it is to society and the state of affairs. I am, of course, Elliot, here with Skylar.
Hi. By the way, that author's
Hey,
name was Chuck Tingle, and he's written
Chuck
such great hits
Tingle.
like Trans Wizard Harriet Porber and The Bad Boy, Parasilifridus, an adult romance novel, and Butt Wars Rogue Buns. All I want for Christmas is to eat out my Christmas tree, and Twilight Bone.
Oh,
Pounded by that handsome Bigfoot Hindi on the wing of my plane, whose wiener is huge.
what? That's the
Yeah,
title?
that's the title.
Wow. Okay.
Like, I think we
All
could just
right.
spend a whole episode reading off the titles of these books that he
Man.
wrote.
Shout out to Chuck Tingle for context for our listeners. We were just talking right beforehand about what I had the intro this week and I was trying to think of something, and Skylar had mentioned that he saw some wacky titles of some crazy, are they like smut
I
novels?
don't really know. The
Oh,
Telltale
but
Bud.
they're just wacky the telltale butt. All right.
Just for an example of what he writes. I'm not gonna read the descriptions right now, but oh my god,
Wow. Okay. Chuck
yeah,
Tingle.
check him out.
Big shout out.
He has a podcast
Yeah.
apparently, and that was what we were gonna. What I was thinking we could open with is one of our, our
Oh,
jokes.
yeah.
Where we open.
Our classic joke that everybody loves, that we just, steal other podcast titles. So, I don't know if Metaverse Meanderings is real. I just thought of
That's
it
pretty good.
because
Is
I
that
I think we mentioned the metaverse at some point, and I don't know.
probably?
Anyway,
That'd be a good
yeah.
podcast title if you were like doing metaverse stuff, I guess.
Yeah, like if you were actually into it, honestly,
Like really into it.
feel free to take that. Yeah,
And yeah, take
like
it.
if
We
you
don't
want
need it.
to.
We're not gonna. We can't afford an Oculus Rift. Are you kidding me?
No, come on.
I'm rich,
I
but I'm not stupid.
I remember the like dev kits for Oculus came out while I think it was it our senior year of high
Yeah,
school
senior year of high school, first year
or
of
just
college,
after.
I want to say. And it
Oh,
was this
okay.
big whole thing.
I
It was
think
like
I think we could
VR.
sign up for them. Yeah, they looked super cool. It was like, oh hey guys, guess what? VR is actually happening, and I was stoked on it until I heard that Facebook bought it, and now I'm like,
But now they're like the industry leaders of it.
whatever. Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure there's some like super cool shit. I've not done like a real VR thing. I've done like like a Dave and Buster's or whatever. They have the VR setups or VR
Yeah.
rides that put on the headset, and it was not fun for me because like they're not like attuned to your eyes.
Yeah, that's
So
probably. You wear
and
glasses
I have
too, so that's probably a
yeah,
thing.
I have bad eyes. So it was like, oh cool, everything is like it takes up all of my field of vision, but it's all blurry, so I can't I couldn't appreciate it for what it probably was, you know what I mean?
I personally have never
What I was
had
trying
really
to
any.
be.
I mean, probably the same as you. Like I played something that was similar to it in an arcade once. But the only VR experience that I played, like maybe in depth, was the Virtual Boy Nintendo.
Oh, did you have
I
one
didn't
of
have
those?
one. My friend did, and
Oh,
it was pretty awful. I mean, you put it on your head, and it didn't really like have like a thing to connect to your head. So like you were meant to play it, or it did, but like you were meant to be sitting at a table playing it. And
oh,
like
yeah.
all the games were in red and black, and like it strained your eyes like after 20 minutes. I mean, you couldn't play anything for any length of time. I remember he had God, what was it? It was like the original Super Mario Brothers game, you know, not like the one on NES, but the one where like you're in a
like Donkey Kong.
No, not Donkey
the
Kong. It's
Mario
the one where
game.
like it's just like there's a bunch of pipes on either side of the wall, and the Koopas come out of one side.
Oh yeah.
Mario Brothers, I'm pretty sure is just what it's called.
It might just be Mario
But,
Brothers. Yeah, they weren't super at that point. They were still
No,
plumbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They hadn't.
And all those wacky turtles were getting in. You know, it was essentially plumbers versus the Ninja Turtles, but they didn't have rights to the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah,
so
pretty much.
What could have been.
Yeah.
But now the Ninja Turtles are owned by, I think, Nickelodeon.
Yeah. I believe so. If that Smash clone game is anything to go by. They just released Shredder, I guess, as a character.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. I think I talked about it on the podcast when I bought it and got in on it, and I was like, oh, I fucking suck at this game, and I just kind of gave up.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know where this game came from. Really, who wanted it? It seems like they tried to develop it for people that play Melee competitively, or Project M.
That's what
or whatever.
That's what I felt. It was definitely like, I don't know, at least how Smash 4 did it. I guess it's like the way the hitboxes are set up is not something I am accustomed to. I guess I did not play I did not play Melee. I've never played Melee. So
I played a lot of Melee, but I played it by myself. So that's a different experience than someone that's like put a competitive or made a competitive career out of it. And I think Nick All-Stars Brawl is they hit that note, but maybe they were kind of expecting that the audience for it would be bigger, or they could pull people from Melee and Project M, which Project M is like for people that don't know, it's Super Smash Brothers Melee, but it's emulated, and like they've done patches and they fixed stuff and made it more balanced than they could in the GameCube era.
Yeah, didn't they take like Brawl characters and make them into more like Melee? Isn't that what Project
I think
M
so.
was?
It's supposed to be like the Final Smash game. Final Smash, but
we'll see about that.
But like Smash Ultimate was so good that there is a fan base dedicated to that. There's still a dedicated fan base for Project M. Still purists that think that Melee is the best Smash game ever. Brawl, no one really thinks Brawl is that great because
no, we covered the Nintendo Wii last episode, so yeah.
If they didn't have the trip mechanic, it might have been one of the best, but because they had that trip mechanic, and Meta Knight, of course, was busted. I think we talked about Meta Knight being busted last time.
Yeah, we did. Retreading ground. I forgot how we got here. Shit.
Yeah, I'm not... I don't remember either.
Whoops.
Yeah. That's your host for you.
I should write down... Yeah. Welcome to the show, everybody. This is still just the intro, by the way. And...
This is why we're rich.
This is why I'm sitting at my super deluxe gaming rig computer. 3 monitors. Same thing on the left and the right, and the center is...
I've got 3 insurance plans. I don't need them. I only need one, but I bought 2 others just because I'm so rich from this podcast.
Like health
Yeah,
insurance?
just health
plans?
insurance, not like
Oh.
dental or anything like that. They're all health insurance plans, all from 3
Ju-
different companies.
Just health insurance. Like you're sitting there signing up for it. It's like, do you want vision and dental included with this?
Fuck
No,
no.
thanks, I'm good. And then you then you go and sign up for the next one, and it's just like, yes, I need more medical coverage.
Uh,
But just not taking vision and dental even.
who
That's,
needs
that's
vision
just
and
silly.
dental?
I I do.
Just don't brush your
I don't
teeth.
need medical as much. Just don't brush my I do.
Think people in the past brush their teeth? You're the direct lineage from someone that didn't brush their teeth.
That's correct. Wow. Yeah. You put it that way.
And they were fine. They still got laid.
Yeah.
Maybe
Somehow.
because
That's
they didn't
why
brush
I'm
their
here.
teeth. Maybe like they were the person in the village that was like,
They were
wow, Matthias, you haven't brushed your teeth in over 3 years. Please give me your seed.
like they just serfs on a fucking radish farm in super old medieval England, and that's like something to be proud of, is not brushing
Yeah.
your teeth for so they're illiterate fucking peasant farmers, but you know they're staunch about their anti
Yeah,
dental
their
care.
Otherwise,
Like-
you got to go to the blacksmith to have him pull out your teeth.
And replace them with
Yeah,
iron.
no, that's actually
Dude,
that's
iron
actually a,
teeth?
I don't know if it's a true fact, but in the video game I was playing recently, there's a mission where you have to take a dude to the blacksmith to get his tooth pulled because obviously in the 14th century that dental doctor being a dental doctor, that wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah,
the
I mean,
blacksmith
I
that
don't
pulled
think so.
teeth because they had the calipers.
Oh. That's interesting. I guess I guess that makes sense because like, barbers and doctors were kind of the same people.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Yeah.
I don't know. That's just based off Flapjack, which was sort of like the Middle Ages, the late Middle Ages of coastal life, I guess. Super accurate.
Doc Barber.
But Dr. Baba, surgery, haircuts.
God, everything from that era of Cartoon Network is just gold.
God, I fucking love Flapjack, dude.
And like Chowder.
Mm-hmm.
Adventure Time. I mean, that was around the same when it
Adventure
first started.
Time.
Adventure
Yeah.
Time is
Regular
great.
Show.
Yeah. Regular Show, yeah, that's another good one.
Regular Show's probably like my favorite out of all those.
That's it.
At least I've watched it the most out of. I never. I still haven't finished Adventure Time all the way through. I got to like the later seasons and they start getting crazy, and I like lost the thread, and I was like,
Yeah,
fuck.
it's one of those shows. Same. I mean, I watched all of Regular Time. Regular Show.
Time.
Don't you do this right now?
I'm sorry. It's just like, what show were you talking? I was talking about Adventure
Yeah.
Time too. So
I got him crossing the streams.
Make sure
Regular
we're-
Show, Adventure Time.
mhm.
I think Adventure Time, its plot thread eventually like became like it all coalesced into something major, whereas Regular Show was just it was a show about two dudes that just didn't want to work.
Yeah. Yeah, it was it was much more episodic. Like it was it was it had a continuing like
Yeah,
arc,
there was
I
continuity
guess.
in it, but
It was continuity. That's the
but
word. Yeah,
Adventure Time
but
like
it
leaned
wasn't like
heavier into the continuity way later on, and then it also
yeah.
did the callbacks and stuff to earlier seasons and.
Mm-hmm. And then they started throwing in like crazy prequel episodes and like the one of the last ones I remember watching for sure was like this Ice King's backstory before like another one though because there were like multiple Ice King backstories episodes, but the one where like him and
Marceline.
was it him and
Yeah,
Marceline?
they like it was like after the
Yeah, and it
bomb
was
dropped because there was a bomb like a nuke, and that was the
yeah,
catalyst for everything becoming the way it does in the Adventure Time universe.
super weird. That was a super cool episode, but that was, one of the last ones I remember seeing. It was good, but I never made it all the way through just because like I didn't know if it was like if it was supposed to be episodic or like when they decided to switch between like, oh, this is gonna fall in the big major plot or this is gonna be, just a side
Yeah, it
episode
was like
or
there was a lot
I
of
think
monster of the
they
week kind of stuff or episode of the week, whatever you want to
yeah.
call it. But then there was the over. I think it really started happening after Finn met his dad, and there was that whole thing. And
Yeah.
Prismo, the Dream Wisher guy, he got killed off.
Yeah.
And so after that,
But that
was like, there was some, like, Finn was starting to be like, oh, well, where do I come from? And there was the whole islands, like, arc that they had. And there was, like, another arc with the grass sword. And he'd, like, made a clone of himself. Or, like, a clone had been made of him.
That was because it got into like a multiverse kind of thing, I think, and that like lost me. I remember. I think the very last episode I remember watching it was like a different Finn in a different universe, and I was just like, what the fuck is going on?
They also did and you remember that Star Trek episode where Picard like lives an entire life? They did an episode like that too, except it was like Finn goes and lives with a bunch of these pillow people. So they like really they did a whole bunch of crazy shit with that show. It's kind of insane. And then the dude went on to make what was that? It was that Duncan Trussell podcast show.
Yeah.
Midnight Gospel.
Midnight
He went
Gospel,
on to do that too, and that was awesome.
Super
really
good. Oh man. Like, no disrespect at all to I think Pendleton Ward is the dude, but I never finished Adventure Time because it got too crazy and I just couldn't follow it.
It's still going.
I mean, it was fantastic from what Adventure Time still going?
There's specials on HBO that continue the story.
Man, so I mean I do have to like go back and finish it. Shit.
I think like I want to. If you start at the point where Finn finds out who his dad is and go from there, then you're pretty much good. That's probably the best place to start after coming back, unless you missed the previous seasons. But if you just want like the continuous story, like everything leading up to the end, then that's probably the best place to start.
Okay. I do remember that episode. It was
where
fucking daddy issues, man.
Dad's like, he's talking to his dad, and his dad is like actively trying to get away from him.
Yeah, he's just constantly trying to desert him. Like they're on the fucking planet that's like melting, and there's nowhere for him to go. But he starts swimming. He's like, "Oh, I'm just going out to get something." I forget what he said.
That's pretty much what he's saying. I'm just going out to get something.
Like, Yeah, it was like I just need to go get a carton of milk, and
then he does the whole Akida thing with his arm getting pulled off.
yeah, that was a crazy fucking.
Yeah,
episode,
it gets
man.
crazy after that. It's a good
wild.
show. I'd highly recommend it to anybody that's even vaguely interested in it. Like season 1 is very much just a kid show, but it evolves a lot from that.
Yeah. Pretty good. Pretty good.
I'd agree.
Mm-hmm.
I'd put it up there with Attack on Titan in terms of just waiting for the next episode. Just wanting to know what's coming next.
Oh man. Yeah. I think there's only a couple episodes left in the season. I thought it was like the finale a couple weeks ago, and no, I'm stupid. I don't know.
Nah.
I don't know how long anime seasons run, but
at this point, it's either going to be there's going to be a part 3. From what I understand, just from non-spoiler, like where the story's at right now and where the manga's at the same point.
Really?
It's either there's going to be a season, like another season, another couple episode, or there's going to be a movie.
I mean, I can see
Unless
it
they
leading up to a movie
rush
for sure.
through the next couple episodes.
Oh,
but
man.
I don't know. It's such a huge, here in the West, it's such a huge phenomenon. Attack on Titan is like everybody knows it. It's like Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, at this
Except
point
the story's
with like
better.
name recognition and stuff. I don't know. I don't know I don't know enough of the story of Dragon Ball Z to say.
I think I do. I've watched all of it. It's,
It's wild.
And I'm not saying Dragon Ball Z is bad. I'm just saying that.
No. Oh, just like the story.
Yeah.
Wise,
I mean, and Dragon Ball Z's story isn't bad. It's just like, it's very much, they try and, even with the manga, it's dragged out,
Yeah,
I mean, you watch the Cell Saga, right? Come on. Like, there were like 20 episodes where it was just them powering up the Kamehameha.
You're right. It's memed pretty hard for sure.
And again, I don't want any DBZ fans coming and attacking me over this because I love Dragon Ball Z. I've been on the fence about buying that Kakarot game because I love Dragon Ball Z so much, but I can't justify $40 for a special edition to get the complete game. Even though I guess I paid that for like Sekiro, but
yeah.
But I know the story of Dragon Ball Z.
I didn't.
And I didn't know the story of Sekiro, and now I know the story of Sekiro, and I'm glad I do.
That's good. I still don't. As far as I've gotten in the game, it's like, he's supposed to be protecting the divine heir, and he got kidnapped, so he's trying to go rescue him. And it's like, I'm sure that it's like part 1 of the game, I've only unlocked like 3 or 4 big areas, so I'm not very far in it, obviously.
Yeah, and you missed that whole really super important section that I told you about.
Yeah. Yeah, I just went back today and did it because I feel fucking stupid trying to go from Gyobu Masataka Oniwa. Yeah. Go from him straight into like the castle and the there was another boss, the bull. I did the bull, and then I tried going even further, but I didn't have like I still had just the one shuriken prosthetic all the way through that.
Yeah, you need at least the axe. For sure.
Yeah.
The flame prosthetic's really good
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, which I have those now. I just felt so fucking stupid that I was talking to the sculptor and he's like, hey, you have that bell, go, put it on the altar to Buddha or whatever. And I was like, okay, where the fuck is that? And I just, I turned the camera, I turned it like, to the right as I walked out of the building instead of like turning it to the left because it was literally
just
like
to the left of
you,
him.
you look to the left and there's like a like a marker, like a mini map marker on it, and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" It was there the whole time.
Yeah, doing that whole memory sequence is pretty vital. All of it.
Yeah, it's really good, and it was actually like solid fundamentals. Just practice.
I think you're supposed to find it pretty early on in the game, but I don't think you're supposed to take the boss of it, Lady Butterfly. I don't think you're supposed to fight her until later.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because she's fucking tough, dude. I don't even think I got her first health bar down to halfway. And there's no sneak attack or jumping attack that you can do on her.
Yeah, she's
so.
a straight up boss. The best tip for that is to use your shuriken when she jumps. And it knocks her out of the air. But even that, that's like a small thing. Because she does a million different things all at once. That's the whole like thing with the game is like each boss is its own thing and you have to learn, their patterns.
Mm-hmm.
And how to react.
Yeah, like you're definitely gonna... Yeah, it's hardcore, man. There's a lot of strategy going on in my brain as I'm playing it,
Yeah, and sometimes you don't even think about using your any of your prosthetics, but sometimes they can like make the fight super easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was I couldn't beat the fiery bull until I went back and I looked up a guide. I was like, there has to be, another prosthetic that I missed somewhere. So I looked up where to get the firecracker one, and I was like, okay,
that
sweet.
one's good
And
against
so I just
all,
used
like,
that to beat him. Yeah.
And the fire.
It's really good for just large groups of people too. If I get ambushed, and then you can just I have the upgraded ones. You can do 360 with it, which is pretty sweet. 360 firecrackers, and everybody gets stunned, and it puts them into instant.
Like the
what
posture
is that kill move?
Break thing.
Yeah, just instant kill attack, which is pretty sweet, and then makes me feel like a badass taking out a bunch of dudes at once because I threw down some firecrackers.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's a bunch of other prosthetics. I mean, it's good to get all of them. It's definitely a game that you need to explore every nook and cranny. Even if it's just like you find some place where there's a Amiibo wealth balloon or something. I mean, it's worth going for.
Mm-hmm.
Just watch out for those headless dudes. I don't know if you found any of them yet. But,
I think I found one. It was like it did like there was a curse build up, and it was like I couldn't move fast around him. Yeah. See, I thought
save those for late game
when I was first playing it. Okay, because it was way back when I like first started, and you already noticed that I skipped a whole part, and I was like, okay, so I'll go back and do some exploring, and I found one of those dudes, and I was like, there's no way that I'm supposed to kill this guy to get like a different prosthetic this early. It was insane.
Those headless ogres, those guys are way late game. I didn't even I tried, I remember banging my head against the wall because I thought the same thing when I first played. I was like, God, I have to fucking fight this guy, really? There's no way. And you don't have to.
Yeah. It's surprising that you don't, But hey, I guess there's a ton of, optional bosses and stuff like that in FromSoft's games
Yeah. Speaking of, Elden Ring's coming out in like less than 10 days.
Oh
I know.
man. Oh
Yeah.
man.
I'm usually not a day one
Damn.
purchase guy, but I just might. I don't know yet. I'm leaning
Yeah.
towards yes, but I also
I
kind of want to wait for it to come out and see how it runs first. And
yeah. See, that's what I think. Ooh, if I buy it, I would buy it for PC, but like uh the Steam Deck is supposed to be coming out soon too. Like I should be getting an email saying like, "Hey, you can buy your Steam Deck." I think it said February. So,
that sounds about
and
right.
then I could just use Steam with it, and it has better specs than my PC,
Oh,
so
oof.
yeah.
Oh, it has better specs than mine too, but I didn't order one, so I will have to wait. I'll
Yeah,
totally
I
get it for
did.
the
I picked
Xbox. I mean, shit. It's gonna
yeah,
be a big name
but it would
game.
be yeah, it would be I mean it would be sick to have Elden Ring just like, portable as well. Would be really cool. Like the big draw of the Nintendo Switch for me is that it replaced my 3DS
Yeah.
like as a handheld system. I really tried to keep playing my 3DS for a hot minute, but then I was like, you get used to the big old Switch screen. Going back to the 3DS, it's like everything is tiny.
Oh yeah,
I,
definitely. And also, I mean, they stopped developing for it. There's no, it's not like
yeah.
the PlayStation 2 where they kept releasing a new FIFA every year until 2014 or whatever. Yeah,
What? Is that
that is
true?
true. Yeah, like FIFA came out on the
What?
PS. It's because it's big in like South American nations. So there was
Okay, I
like
can
at
see
least at the
that.
very least FIFA. It was like FIFA 2014, 15 maybe came out on the PS2,
Man,
and that was like one of the last
on the
games. Yeah,
PS2.
and that was like well into the PS3's life cycle. That was almost
Yeah, dude, like the
PS4
PS3 was
cycle.
old by then.
That was PS4. Yeah. But no, that's true. I mean, it's 100% true.
Man, I didn't know that, but now that you say that, I mean, it makes sense. Like the PlayStation 2 is the biggest selling console of all time, I think, like
I
globally,
think no, I think the Wii is.
Is it the Wii
I'm pretty
now?
sure it's. I'm pretty.
I could have swore the
I could
PlayStation
be wrong,
2
but I think
outsold it.
the
Like
Wii
in
would be because it came bundled with Wii Sports. It came like bundled with Wii
yeah, I mean
Sports
that
and
makes
an extra
sense.
controller.
Yeah, I suppose. I
But
suppose.
PS2, I mean, PS2 could also be. PS2 is big because it had the DVD drive. So you could buy a PS2, but you
Yeah,
also got a DVD player with it. That was the big
I
selling
got
point.
a
That was why my
DVD
mom
player.
bought me ones because we'd have a DVD player. And then she never
Mm-hmm.
used it. So it was just basically a place. I mean, it was just PlayStation 2 for me. But that was the big selling
Yeah,
point of it, was that it could play
it was a big
DVDs. It was
selling
like
point.
with the PS3, you could play Blu-rays.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cheapest Blu-ray player for its time when
Were like
Blu-rays
600
were
bucks.
like brand new
It
and
was like a
yeah,
$600 thing for a Blu-ray player. So it was like, yeah,
yeah,
400 bucks for a PS3 and you can play games. That's awesome. And you got all those weird ass
exactly.
commercials too for it, like that baby crawling on the walls.
Yeah. Oh, well, the PS3
Yeah,
commercials.
those were nuts.
Yeah.
I only remember that one where it's like the baby that crawls on the wall and it has like a deformed face, but it was really good. Made me want a PS3, but I never had a PS3 until I moved in with you. So
Yeah, I had a PS3. But that was like the first big purchase I ever made with my own, like, I have a job now money. I think was a
sure,
PS3.
I
Yeah.
had a 360, and that was a Christmas gift. And then the first one I got as a Christmas gift, it red ringed. So I had to send that one in.
Oh, man.
I went through like two or three, I think, because they all red ringed. but it was always within the warranty
Shit.
period, so I was able to get a new one until my last one, which my uncle still has. He took it with him to California. Or,
Nice.
I guess he lives close by now, but I'm not on speaking terms with him, so...
Beef.
Big old beef. Just because I smoked a bowl of
beef
resin
going
in the fucking basement.
Oh.
And his wife got pissed about it. But I was like, and then she kicked me out. I was like, all right, I'm going to go live with my girlfriend.
Damn. Oof. That's too bad, man.
That's the way life goes.
Happens to the best
life.
of us, I suppose.
Getting beef with our uncle because we tried to smoke resin in our basement.
Yeah. Straight up beef stew, brother. Yeah. Man. But did they ever, like, fully diagnose the red ring of death problem? Like, did they,
it was overheating, I believe. There was some kind of, I believe it was due to overheating, and the overheating would, it would melt the, like, thermal paste on the CPU.
Oh.
So I think that's why. But, like, it's why, like, a lot of fixes at the time would be like, oh, hey, just wrap your Xbox in a towel. Because then it would overheat. Like, it's big brain. Because it would overheat, but it would overheat so much that it would remelt the thermal paste and fix it.
Oh, that's so weird. All right.
But I believe that was the issue, was that it would overheat and the thermal paste would melt and the CPU would become dislodged.
Oh.
So
wow.
You would wrap it in a blanket and it would overheat to a crazy extent, so much so that the thermal paste would melt again and it would fix it. Wow. Yeah, that was a mess of a time for Xbox, Microsoft.
Yeah, it sure was, man. Compared to how they are, at least today. I was a fervent. Is that the right word?
Yes.
Fervent Sony fanboy for a long time, especially during the round one of the console wars.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was definitely a PS2 only. And I had an Xbox 360 and it was okay. I mean,
yeah. And the PS2 came out before the original Xbox, right?
Yes, a little bit before.
Because that was its like competition.
Yes, that was when Bill Gates was like, "Hey, we should just do this because why not? We already have more money than God."
Yeah, God, I was about to say that. Fucking more money than you could ever spend in 5 lifetimes.
It was like Sony had to build
it.
up to that reputation. They had to build up that their rep. They had the PS1.
Yeah, they worked hard.
They beat out the Dreamcast.
Yeah.
Which was another big one coming out. Although Sega, I mean, I don't want to get too deep into the whole reason why Sega failed, but Sega fucked themselves over, and that's why the Dreamcast failed.
Is it because they leaned into the furry worship of Sonic instead of trying to deny it?
Yeah. That's probably why.
Let's dissect this.
It
Let's
definitely
get
wasn't
into
because
it.
their
Why
last
did
console they released like 4 or 5 different mods for it that all cost $100, $200 each. Like there was the Sega Genesis, and there was like the 32X, and the Sega CD, Sega CD, and they all connected to the same console. So you'd have to buy the Sega Genesis, and then you could buy the Sega 32X, which was like a 32-bit thing, and then you'd buy a Sega CD to connect to the 32X. So you could play Sonic Adventure 2 or Sonic Adventure. Then they just released the Dreamcast.
Jesus.
And I think the Dreamcast got pushed back a couple months, so the PS2 came out first, and it could also play DVDs. The only thing the Dreamcast had on the PlayStation 2, I believe, was online play. because whatever Phantasy Star was really big at the time.
That makes sense. Yeah, because I don't know anything. I've never fucked around with Dreamcast, but from what I am assuming is that their like network stuff was already in their
Yeah.
console, and like the PlayStation didn't have
I want to say there was actually another port for the Sega
PS1.
Genesis where you could connect it online, but it was another like $75, $100 thing that you had
Jeez,
to add
like
on to it.
Yeah. God damn. I think the original PS2 was like that. That it didn't have a like an Ethernet
No,
port. I know
it
the
didn't.
later slim models after the PS2 hit the gym for a while came back with a hot Ethernet port and you know, that slim pop open profile.
I know the fat one, because I had the fat model, like the OG.
The OG, man.
And I know it it only had 2 controller ports. So if you wanted to play, specifically if you wanted to play 007 Nightfire, which is a fucking awesome game, by the way, you had to,
Nightfire.
Yeah, it was
I've
James
never
Bond
heard
game,
of it.
you know.
Well, I know what 007 is.
Oh yeah, Nightfire. I mean, it was like one of the best ones to come out. Multiplayer wise, at least split screen. Anyway, if you wanted 4-player split screen, you had to buy like a base that had another 2 controller ports for it. If you wanted to play online, you had to buy an Ethernet thing for the back. It was going kind of the same way, but then they were like, oh hey, let's just release the slim model that has an Ethernet port. It didn't have 4 ports for controllers, but at the same time, that was around the time playing games together in the same room was dying.
Yeah, that was where I don't know if there was a big overlap with Xbox at that time, but when Halo LAN parties were a big thing, that
was Xbox's thing.
I don't
is
think
they were
those were at
trying
the same
to
time.
because people played Doom, Wolfenstein, games like boomer shooters, they would play those at LAN parties, and you would be bringing your to do that you'd have to bring your tower, you'd have to bring your monitor, which back then you had the CRT monitors, which weighed like 50 pounds, and even your tower would weigh 50 plus pounds just because it was so heavy. So they were like, well, why not just put it all onto this console, so you can just bring this 20 pound console, and it's still heavy, still very heavy. I mean, God,
yeah, it's still heavy as fuck, but
better than bringing your CRT TV. And because I remember me and my friends, we had LAN parties with our Xbox 360 playing Halo 3, and that was fun.
Well,
But that was what the Xbox was trying to do, was just try to make it so you didn't have to bring all that nerd shit into one room and have like 4 to 5 people all stanking up a room.
That's what Microsoft did, is it made video games accessible to the chads. So you don't have to fucking all this nerd shit with video games. Where's the non-nerdy
Give me that
video
big
games?
fat Duke controller. I don't need a mouse and keyboard. Fuck you.
And that's, the story of FIFA.
Yeah, FIFA 2014 for the PlayStation 2. That did blow my mind when I first read that. I was like, God, they didn't stop developing for the PS2 until like 2014, 2015. It's insane.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
It's like
absolutely nuts. I mean, I guess that makes sense. The EverQuest online adventures of the PS2 EverQuest shut down in, I want to say, March of 2013. So the PS2 had definitely been running, and there had been updates and stuff on it, at least through that time. which is kind of
Yeah.
wild.
I mean, server maintenance really isn't that expensive overall for something like that, especially when you only have a couple hundred people playing. But at a point,
I don't know. There's at least enough to keep it going through 2012. But it was I think it was pretty expensive too. Like you had the full price of the game. I think it was like $15 a month.
That's the thing. At a point, it becomes like, even if there's like 1,000 people playing, but they aren't paying for it. I don't know if they were paying for EverQuest.
Well, you couldn't play it if you weren't paying for it.
But even then, the cost will eventually outweigh, or it'll become net. It'll be the same. There's 1,000 people playing, and it costs about that much to run the server. Then it's not worth keeping up. And at the point the game's so old, it's like, whatever, fuck them, move on to the next thing, you dumbass.
Yeah, pretty much. It was like, thanks for playing our game and being loyal, but fuck you. And you're on your own. I hope you like, I don't know what a different MMO was for a console. Like Destiny, maybe.
I mean, Final Fantasy. It's that same argument. These things have been happening for a really long time. It's like, as soon as people stop playing it, they're going to stop supporting it.
Yeah.
Like, like Destiny. I mean, Destiny's different because it's they're weird and they put everything into their vault after so long, and they make it a really hard barrier for entry. And World of Warcraft
like seasonal stuff, or
it's like you can't pick up Destiny 2 and play Destiny 1 content. You have to get all the lore and everything, I should say. You have to go and watch a video and pick up the lore that way.
Oh, they continuously run a world lore, I guess, and just push it forward with whatever.
I mean, even Final Fantasy 14, same kind of way. They had the initial release of Final Fantasy 14. It sucked. People did not like it. They had a run that went on for a couple years. Then eventually they wiped the slate clean and were like, okay, we're just going to nuke the world.
Oh, man. Final Fantasy nukes.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's pretty cool.
World of Warcraft, it's like they got like, you can never play, even though we played vanilla, we can never really play vanilla World of Warcraft ever again. It's never going to exist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Besides, like, private servers, maybe?
No, I mean, like, we can never experience what vanilla World of Warcraft was really like.
You get what I mean? Yeah.
Like, you're 13, well, I'm showing my age here, 13 years old, you log in, and you're in Ironforge, and all you want to do is get some copper bars so you can level up your blacksmithing. It's it's never going to be like, it's RuneScape as well. It's the same kind of deal. Like, there's the 2007 Scape, but everything is so min-maxed that that's gone. The real experience of it is gone, and now there's just like what we experienced in vanilla WoW was probably not like what it was like in 2006, 2005.
Okay, yeah, it's not a novel experience anymore, is what you're saying. Like, even if you try to go back and
recreate it,
it's like rehashing old movies and shit that our parents loved, and they're doing it again for nostalgia. That it's not gonna be the same, and there's no way to. I guess that's a bad example with movies, because movies you can just go back and rewatch it.
Sure, but you can't go back and rewatch
you're never
them
gonna
the first time.
Yeah. Like you're never going to experience the first Star Wars in a movie theater, like on release day.
Yeah.
You know, I guess. Yeah. Maybe I'm making it too complicated.
No, that's exactly my point. It's just like,
Yeah.
you know, these companies, they'll release a legacy server or something. Case in point, World of Warcraft, they released the classic servers and whatever. And it was good for a little while, you know, you kind of got that hit of it, but it wasn't exact, you know, it wasn't the real. It wasn't like you were there and nobody knew how to do anything. There was always a Wikipedia guide or Wikia guide that you could look up and figure out how to do something.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's not, you're not, oh, excuse me, hang on. Whew. You're not, blazing the Oregon Trail, so to speak, anymore. It's, the trail has been blazed.
Yes.
And even though it looks like fresh, untouched grass, that there's, you know, a cobblestone path underneath.
A Minecraft cobblestone
To speak
path.
to speak in an extended, complicated metaphor. Yeah.
Yeah. It's sad.
The present moment is the present moment, and, you know, it's all that ever exists.
Yeah.
The past is the past, and what's done is done. And something... I was going to quote, like, a song, but then I forgot words, so fuck it.
Can't reclaim the past. All we do is just move toward the future.
That's right. Just keep swimming.
Just
or
keep
whatever,
swimming.
you know. I think that's trademark.
And probably.
We're gonna get sued for this episode. This is
Come
the
at
one.
me, Pixar.
Yeah.
Let's see. Still looking at these Chuck Tingle fucking titles. My God, this guy is. I wonder how many albums or books he puts out. Like.
Oh, this fuck. What was his name? Jeffrey
Chuck
something.
Tingle. You respect the name.
Chuck Tingle. Apologies, I already forgot his name.
Title.
Secondary shout out.
Chuck Tingle.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say I was just gonna list off fucking some of his titles. Like this one, Pounded in the Butt by My Own Butt.
What?
My lesbian twice baked potato ski instructor eats my ass.
What? It's just like
crazy ass fucking titles.
Is he just pulling like nouns out of a random noun generator
Shared by the chocolate
and then throwing
milk
it together?
Buddy, get it. This guy. Oh my God. I really want to buy one of these books.
Damn. Chuck Tingle.
Yeah, Chuck
everybody.
Tingle. Shout out
go
to Chuck
support
Tingle and his God, what's his podcast name? I'm gonna shout out his podcast.
Does he have a?
Because he has a podcast.
I might go start listening to it. Because
Pounded in the Butt by my own podcast. That's the name of his podcast. That's good. That's genius.
Son of a bitch.
Okay, Pounded in the Butt by my own podcast. Check it out, everybody.
Check it out. That's... All right. Yep, well, I know what I'm going to go listen to after this.
No kidding.
Man, why didn't we do something like super outlandish? We need to do more crazy shit,
Yeah,
I think.
I agree.
It's the only way we're going to get the attention that I so desperately crave.
Yeah, and add to my paycheck every month that I get.
Yeah, you have 3 insurance plans to
I know.
pay for. So
It's very expensive. And I wouldn't have it any other
but
way.
for real though. But for real though, listeners, thank you for listening and supporting the show however you define supporting. I think there's like ratings on Spotify now, so
Yes.
give
like,
us a rating.
Subscribe.
I don't
hit
give
that
a fuck
bell,
if it's
hit that motherfucking bell.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that's a YouTube thing, but hit the
Maybe.
equivalent of that bell.
I think
which is by subscribing to us.
which I think I think it's also a bell in Spotify, and it's probably a bell for Stitcher. I use Stitcher a little bit in the beginning, but
Yeah, I use Stitcher every day.
uh-uh.
Every single day. Always.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I thought you were setting up a Stitcher I hardly know her joke, but
No, I was setting up a Stitcher. Today's podcast is sponsored by Stitcher.com. That's STITCHER.com.
yes, thank you. Thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to Chuck Tingle.
Big thanks to
Thank you
Chuck
to
Tingle.
you.
Big thanks. You keep doing you, man. I mean, God.
That's right. We're behind you, 100%.
It sounds like he's behind himself.
If he's getting pounded in the butt with his own butt, I want to be there to watch.
Me too. Yeah. God, some of his titles are so long that he has to keep changing his typeface smaller and smaller on the titles. Pounded by President Bigfoot. Oh my God, this guy. God,
Fuck, man. He's doing it better than
yeah,
us.
he's living the life.
He's out there.
Yeah, he is. I agree.
Fucking A. Well, we're pretty much at an
Yeah,
hour.
we almost at the hour mark, and that's about all the time that I have for this strenuous activity every week.
Yeah. I can't believe that we just spent an hour talking, and I literally prepared nothing for this episode.
I mean,
so
we ended up talking for an hour.
Yeah, we
about
did
stuff.
it. We did it, folks.
Good job.
So
I need to go talk to my 3 different health insurance agents about my plan. So
yeah, and I need to go see my therapist for some CBT.
yeah,
By that I mean cock and ball torture and not cognitive behavioral therapy.
yeah. You should also probably get that revolver out of my face. I mean, if you want to.
You're right.
Just if you want to.
We'll see how the next half hour goes.
All right, everybody. Hopefully, I'll see you next week.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah, please.
All right.